Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my series on Jupiter through the houses in Synastry. So this one I'm going to talk about what happens when your Jupiter is falling into someone's 7th house in Synastry, or their Jupiter is falling into your 7th house in Synastry. So this one is definitely a marriage indicator. When we have planets falling into the 7th house in general, this is the house of marriage and partnerships of all kinds. So this one is definitely an indicator of a marriage type relationship or a romantic relationship, or just a relationship where you partner well, you work together well in a partnership. So not that any of the Jupiter house placements in Synastry would indicate that this wouldn't be a marriage relationship, because you could be married to someone with an overlay of any placement here. But this one particularly stands out as a marriage indicator just because of the nature and meaning of the 7th house. So this one tends to show a significant relationship in some way, and the Jupiter person can really see the house person in a positive light, and the house person feeling how they're being seen by the Jupiter person feels a lot of positive feelings towards the Jupiter person. And this is generally quite a positive overlay, unless there's, really tense, difficult aspects going on with that Jupiter, or with some other stuff going on. Usually this is going to be a good for getting along relationship. And also there can be an element of like publicity, or the Jupiter person can really expand the horizons of the house person, but in a social way. So the 7th house, because it represents partnerships of all kinds, the Jupiter person can introduce the house person to a lot of different contacts, and this can increase the house person's success. Now, this can also happen the reversal as well, where the house person can also really beneficially impact the Jupiter person by showing them their contacts. So this one would also be favorable for like a business relationship as well, because there's this very social, diplomatic energy with this overlay. Like, when someone's Jupiter is falling into your 7th house, you can find it really easy to be diplomatic with them, partnering with them, getting along with them, pleasing each other. And pleasing, I don't mean in the sexual way. This isn't a sexual overlay, although if other indications show a sexual relationship, this would make one work very well. But it's more just like there's an element of like giving each other grace and seeing the good in each other. Actually, Jupiter conjunct any of the angles, so the ascendant, oh my god, the IC, so the 4th house cusp, and the 10th house cusp, we're going to see each other in a very favorable light. Now, this one seems to be the most social. The midheaven would be also social, but in a more like career driven sense. This isn't necessarily about career, although it could definitely help it. It can just help expand the horizons of the house persons on all levels, or the house person on all levels. So yeah, it's a good one for having a partner, like imagining like socialites, or like wanting to get out there and be in the public eye, or even just go out together. Like, it's not so much an overlay for staying at home together every single day. Like maybe Jupiter in the 4th house would definitely show there's a lot of energy on emotional things in the home life. This isn't necessarily an emotional overlay. It's a more, we make each other look good, we make each other feel good, we want to get out there and socialize with this overlay. So it's definitely a couple that you like to be with other people as well, as it is the 7th house can be a more social house, and yeah, you can meet people through this connection. And this could be, I've had people with their Jupiter in my 7th house and they're the ones that share my content or recommend me to people, or yeah, like just speak very highly of me. And this, you know, grows my thing I'm doing here, you know, whatever it is, whatever it is that I'm doing here. So you know, it's things like that yeah, you just generally think very highly of people. And then you also, like, as the house person in this situation, you want to be accommodating to the Jupiter person. You want to give back, and you're appreciative and you're thankful. And yeah, definitely there's a lot of seeing the good in each other. Now, if this is a potential romantic relationship, you can see this person when their Jupiter is in your 7th house, and you are just like, that is husband material. I don't know how many times I've seen someone with their Jupiter in my 7th house and thought, wow, that is the type of person I would want as my husband. And it's a sort of unconscious thing when these overlays are happening. And that didn't necessarily mean I haven't actually had a significant long-term relationship myself with someone with Jupiter in my 7th, but I could see how it would be very good. And I could see how I've, you know, sort of husband zoned men. Like, this could just be like famous men or just men that I've happened to interact with and I know their Jupiter placement. Yeah, this is like the placement of like, wow, that would be a good husband, or husband zone instead of friend zone. I just made that up. I don't know if that's a thing. But it definitely, this one so strongly like reeks of partnering and partnership and partnering up in any sort of way. But definitely marriage. And, you know, certain astrologers think Jupiter is the spouse. I don't necessarily know if I fully have experienced that or agree with that, but I like to be open with my Mercury and Gemini to a wide variety of perspectives. And, you know, if Jupiter is the spouse, then Jupiter in the 7th house, you know, that makes sense for marriage. But even, you know, the 7th house does represent marriage and relationships of all types. And also there's a great like balancing effect. So I think the reason why we so naturally partner well with people in our 7th house is that they really balance the parts of our personality that perhaps are like too much. Not that you're never too much, but like sometimes, let's say the ascendant, you know, you so strongly identify there that when someone has planets in your 7th house, it can be very soothing and balancing and irritating if it's Mars or Pluto at times. But it's also, yeah, it's very healing. So when it's Jupiter, which is the most beneficial energy, the most like where your Jupiter is, you're blessing another with that energy because it's a very generous planet. There's a really good balance going on there between the personalities and being able to get along. So yeah, I like this one a lot. I like all of them. You won't see me talking down about any of the house overlays of Jupiter and Synastry, but this one is definitely very favorable. So I'd love to know your experience of it. Was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching, you guys. Talk soon.